Hi everybody and welcome to Rumbleslam Matchday. Today the heavy pounders will face the body builders in a Rumbleslam match. I bet we will see a lot of brutal actions today when wrestlers from different casinos face each other in a brutal match. In the blue corner, representing the Kaiser's Palace Casino, the heavy pounders. In the red corner, representing the Rolling Bones, the body builders. The heavy pounders line up with Royce on the right. He is the team captain and a human brawler. In the middle, the Halfling brawler Grimbold. He is the most experienced on the team. He's also the smallest. And on the left, the human grappler Telly. He is well known for his signature move, the leg lock. The combined value of these three heavy pounders is 550,000 dosh. In the opposite corner of the ring, the body builders. On the left, Alicia, the modern zombie. She does not only have the guts to be in the ring, she literally shows her guts. Forget all about a slow zombie. She is fast in every way and she wants brains. In the middle, the team captain, the fight Wight, with the best stats of all the wrestlers in the ring today. She's on fire. Final member of the team is the Rocket Bones, aka the Goatman skeleton. These wrestlers have a combined value of 575,000 dosh. The difference in team value will give the heavy pounders a 25,000 dosh endorsement that enables them to re-roll a single die during the match. Let's get ready to roll for initiative. The bodybuilders will choose Alicia, the modern zombie. She will roll a gold and a silver die in dexterity, and the heavy pounders will choose Grimbold, the halfling brawler. He will roll 2 silver dice. Alicia rolls 4. That's not impossible, but it will be hard to beat, and Grimbold rolls a 3. The bodybuilders will begin round number 1. Let's check out Alicia. She has a movement of 6 and she has 3 action points. She has a couple of signature moves and pretty good stats. But before she moves, she will try to use her crowd pleaser that will cost her 1 action point, and if she completes that, she can flip any dice she rolls upside down this round. But the crowd die is a blank, the crowd pleaser is not effective, she'll have to come up with something else. So instead she will use 1 action point to use the ropes, and that will move her 5 squares into the middle of the ring. And from this position she will move 1, 2, 3 squares into base contact with Telly. So she can now do something to him if she wants to. She only has 1 action point left, but that's enough to use her reverse arm ringer. So that will give her 1 silver and 2 copper dice. It's a grapple move, so it's versus Telly's grapple of 1 silver and 1 copper plus 1. And Alicia rolls a good roll of 7. Telly only 2 plus 1, that's 3. So that's 4 more. And that's enough to give Alicia a beatdown. With a result of 4 or more, she will do 1 additional point of damage. And that's plus the 1 she already does with her move. So that's 2 points of damage to Telly. And the reverse arm ringer also has a bounce back of 5, so she will immediately move 5 squares back. And she can't move the final square because she will bump into the Goatman. Alicia ends her turn, and now Grimbold activates. He has a move of 4 and 5 action points. He will move once, and then he will bounce off the ropes. That's 1 action point. That takes him 5 squares into the ring. And then he will try his crowd pleaser. And this time the crowd pleaser is effective. Grimbold will immediately get 1 extra action point and 1 extra movement point. He is a popular wrestler with the fans, and that's no wonder. He has been around for long. He moves again, And he can use a terrifying signature move of a flying headbutt. And his target is Alicia. That's a rope move that will cost him 2 action points, and he will roll 2 silver dice and do 2 damage if he's successful. And that's against Alicia's defense of 2 copper plus 1. Grimbold rolls 3. And Alicia rolls 2 blanks, so even though it's plus 1, she will not defend the flying headbutt. Grimbold will do 2 damage to Alicia. Payback. But he's not finished yet. He still has action points left, so he will just try to hit Alicia with an attack. But he has only 1 copper plus 1. That's not good. Alicia will roll 2 copper dice plus 1 in defense, and she will easily defend that attack from Grimbold. Unfortunately for him, that's a difference of 4. So Alicia will get a reversal. And the difference of 4 means that Grimbold will end his activation immediately. Now it's the Goatman, and he has a terrifying signature move, the Ram. Using the ropes, he will be able to rocket into a target wrestler, and if he's successful, he will hit and also shove the wrestler 3 squares. So the target here is Grimbold, and he will use the ropes and all 3 action points to do the Ram. That will give him 1 gold and 1 copper die, plus 1. And Grimbold will have to defend with 1 silver. The Goatman rolls 3. Not impossible for Grimbold to resist. But no. The Goatman is successful. He will do 1 damage, but he will also shove Grimbold 3 squares back, and for each square he will lose 1 more point of health. The total damage of the Goatman's attack is 4 health, and Grimbold only has a total of 5. If he takes 1 more damage, he'll be knocked out. The Goatman is done. Instead, Telly will activate. And he is close enough to launch an attack against the Goatman. So he will move 3 squares, use 1 action point to bounce off the ropes, and do an attack. And he will attack with 1 silver die, but he will get an additional copper because he used the ropes. The Goatman has a defense of 1 copper, so that looks bad. Telly's attack will most likely hit him. Oh no, he will not hit anything. The Goatman will easily block that. Telly has 3 action points left, so he can do his signature move, the leg lock. That will take 2 movement points away from the Goatman in the next round, but it will also do 1 damage. And it's 1 silver, 1 copper, and that's plus 1. And it's a grapple move, so it's versus the Goatman's grapple, and he has 2 copper dice. So Telly has the upper hand, and he will roll 1 plus 1, that's 2. And the Goatman with 2 blanks. So that's 1 damage. But the Goatman will be more or less immobilized in the next round with 2 of his movement points away. Telly still have 1 action point left. He will finish off with a regular attack. He has 1 silver die, and the Goatman has a defense of 1 copper die. Silver versus copper. And the Goatman is on top here. He will defend the attack, no further damage, and that completes Telly's activation. Then the Fight Wight will join the battle. She has 4 action points and 4 movement points and a couple of dangerous signature moves. And all her brawl attacks has the Revenant Flame that will hit her targets with Dazed. She will move 3 squares and use 1 action point to bounce off the ropes and target Grimbold with a regular attack. She will have a silver and a gold die, and she will get an extra copper die because of the ropes. Grimbold only has a silver, and that looks really bad for Grimbold. Remember, he only has 1 stamina left, and he rolls a blank. That's 6 more. So he will, of course, take 1 damage from the attack, and then he will take 2 extra damage because of the beatdown, and he will be dazed. And he will have to roll a crowd die, and a cheer result, he will avoid further damage from the dazed hit. But he will certainly go down with a slam. He is knocked down and knocked out by the fight Wight. But she's far from finished. She still has 3 action points, so why not pin Grimbold to the floor and count him out of this match? The fight Wight has a weight of 2, so she will roll 2 copper dice, and Grimbold will roll only 1 for his weight. This could be all over. No, the fight Wight rolls blanks. Grimbold will resist the first attempt, but she will do it again. That looks bad again, and Grimbold is still not out of the match. She has a 3rd attempt, but that's a dirty move, because if a wrestler attempts something 3 times, they will first have to pass a dirty test. And it's a boo result. The crowd will not let the fight Wight do the same thing 3 times in a row. She will have a penalty of 1 action point in the next round, and she will finish her activation. Miraculously, Grimbold is still in this match. That leaves Royce as the final wrestler to activate. He has 4 movement points and 4 action points, and he has a special rope move, the cloth line knockdown. And that's what he will do. He will move twice, and then he will spend 2 action points. And that will take him directly into an attack versus the fight Wight. He will roll 2 silver and 1 copper die, but the fight Wight has a defense of 1 gold and 1 silver. Royce rolls 3. Not the best. And the fight Wight, strong as she is, will resist the attack. But the Heavy Pounders has a reroll endorsement. He can try to reroll the copper die. And yes, that paid off. He will now have a total of 5, and that will beat the fight Wight. The knockdown is in effect. So, the fight Wight will take 1 damage, but she will be knocked to the ground. Not knocked out, but knocked down. Royce can now follow up with a pin move that will count the fight Wight out of the match. But she has a weight of 2, and she will get an additional copper die because she has at least half her health left. And with a weight of 2, Royce will roll 2 copper dice. And the fight Wight will roll the best here. She will resist the pin. And Royce will decide to move away slightly, and that will finish his activation, and it will also finish the first round of the match. 3 rounds left. The fight Wight is on the ground, but she is conscious. Grimbold is far, far away and out of health. The Goatman has less movement in the next round, and the fight Wight also has a penalty to her action points. Grimbold is knocked out and knocked down with no health left, but the 2 other wrestlers are doing good. Round 2. Round 2 begins with another initiative roll, and the bodybuilders will once again choose Alicia with 1 gold and 1 silver, and the Heavy Pounders will choose Telly to roll with 1 silver and 1 copper. And Telly will win. So the Heavy Pounders will activate first, and Telly will be the one to begin. Telly turns around and he targets the turnbuckle. He will move 3 squares, and he will use 1 action point to climb the turnbuckle. And from here, he can choose a regular turnbuckle attack, but he also has the 450 splash, one of his moves that will do 3 silver dice and 3 damage. It has a range of 5, so he will target the Goatman, and he will have to choose a square in base contact with the Goatman, and that will be right in the middle between the Goatman and Alicia. And the special rule about the 450 splash is that it's devastating, so he will hit both the Goatman and Alicia with his attack. Telly rolls 3 silver dice once, and the Goatman and Alicia will have to defend for themselves. The Goatman with 1 defense cover die and Alicia with 2+1. And that's a good roll from Telly. The Goatman will be powerless here. He will have Telly right in the face. He'll take the full 3 points of damage. And what about Alicia? That is not any better. She will also take 3 points of damage. That was a very effective attack, and that leaves the Goatman and Alicia very close to a knockout. With that successful turnbuckle attack, Telly can roll the crowd pleaser die, and it's a cheer. He will immediately get his crowd pleaser. He gains another action point. But before he does anything, the Goatman's ability Brittle Bones will take effect. He was hit with 3 damage. Unfortunately for him, it will count as 5, and that is enough to knock him out. So the Goatman's skeleton will fall down to the floor, and he's knocked out. Telly will use his final action point to try to pin the Goatman and take him out of the match completely. Telly has a weight of 2. He will roll 2 copper dice. Not the best. And the Goatman only 1, but he will succeed. He is still in the match. The fight Wight is next. First, she'll have to use 1 action point to stand up. She's no longer knocked down. But she also has a penalty of 1 action point, and that leaves only 2 left. What will she do? She will move towards the ropes, and she will use her remaining action points to perform her flaming fist smash. And the target is Telly. So she will bounce off the ropes and hit Telly with 3 cover dice plus 1. She will do 2 damage, but also cause bleeding if she's successful. Oh my, what a bad roll. It's +1, so Telly could be hit. No, he will roll 2 with his silver defense dice. This attack had absolutely no effect, and the fight Wight will finish her turn. After that, it's Royce. He will move 3 squares, and that will take him into base contact with the knocked out Goatman, and he will try to lift the Goatman. He will use his grapple, that's 1 silver die, and when the Goatman is knocked out, he will have to beat his weight of 1, and that's a success. With a roll of 3, he will lift up the Goatman, and it's not even a dirty move because he's knocked out. And then he has a throw range of 4, so he can, from this position, throw the Goatman out of the ring. He will take him out of the ring and out of the match. The Goatman is finished. A successful throw out of the ring will cause a crowd pleaser check, so Royce will have to roll the crowd pleaser die, and no, somehow the crowd did not like that. They will boo at him. He will have a penalty of 1 action point. But that still leaves a movement and 1 action left for him. So he will move next to Alicia. She only has 1 health left. And he will perform a regular attack. That's 1 silver and 1 copper plus 1. Ooh, and that's another great roll from Royce. 7. That will be very, very hard, if not impossible, for Alicia. She rolls 2 defense cover die plus 1. That's 4. Luckily for her, it's not enough to do a beatdown, but she will take 1 damage, and that is 1 too much. She will be knocked out as well. Royce is done with his brutal turn, and Alicia's only chance to get back in the match is to roll a cheer with the crowd die. No, it's a blank. She will not be able to recover, and she's still knocked out. That leaves only 1 wrestler left to activate Grimbold, and he is more lucky. He will roll a cheer result. He will regain 1 health, and he will stand back up. And that will cost him 1 action point, but he still has a few action points left. He also has enough movement to move into base contact with Alicia, and I think I know what he will try here. He will try to lift the knocked out zombie up. And he will have to roll more than 2, and he is successful with his 1 grapple cover die. He rolls 3. He will lift up the zombie, and believe it or not, he has a throw distance of 2, and from where he stands, he will throw the zombie out of the ring. Incredible. He regains consciousness, he moves, and now he has thrown Alicia out of the ring, and the crowd is wild. He will roll a cheer result, and that gives him further actions and further movement. He will get 1 more movement and 1 more action point, so he's not even done yet. He will move to the ropes, and I think he will have enough action points to do his flying headbutt against the Fight Wight. This halfling is on fire, even more than the Fight Wight. The flying headbutt is 2 silver dice, but that will be versus 1 gold and 1 silver of the Fight Wight. And the Fight Wight will resist the flying headbutt, but still an incredible performance by Grimbold. His experience really shows here. That completes the second round of this match. The Fight Wight alone faces the entire Heavy Pounders team because her 2 teammates are out of the match. Let's go to round 3. The round will begin with initiative, and the Fight Wight is the only one to roll initiative for the bodybuilders. The Heavy Pounders will choose Royce this time, and they will have the exact same dice. But Royce is the best. He will win the initiative for the Pounders. Royce will run directly towards the turnbuckle, and he will climb the turnbuckle. That will cost him 1 action point, and then he will use his remaining 3 action points to do the skull-cracking elbow. With a range of 5, he can reach the Fight Wight. It has a damage of 4, and he will roll 3 silver dice versus 1 gold and 1 silver. Let's see. He will roll 4. Not impossible for the Fight Wight to beat. And she will resist. She will turn around, grab him in mid-air, and stare him into his face with her dead eyes. That was Royce's chance. Now the Fight Wight will activate, and she will do exactly the same. Move and climb the turnbuckle. And she also has a turnbuckle attack. The St. Elmo splash that will cause bleeding and be devastating as well. She will roll 1 gold, 1 silver, and 1 copper die, and that's +1. And her target is Royce, but she will land in the square between Royce, Telly, and Grimbold, and with the devastating effect, she will hit all 3 of them, and that will be with a damage of 3. Very interesting. Let's see the power of her attack, and it's, well, only 4. It's still quite a lot, especially for Grimbold to resist. Telly will begin. He has a defense of 2 silver dice. Let's see what he can roll. He will not resist the attack. Grimbold will only roll 1 silver die, and he is also hit. And finally, Royce. 2 silver dice for him as well. All 3 wrestlers will be hit by the flying Fight Wight. Telly and Royce will survive, but Grimbold will once again be knocked out and hit the floor. The Wight will roll the crowd pleaser after a successful turnbuckle attack, and it's a boo again. The crowd doesn't seem to like her very well. Grimbold will immediately activate and see if he can get back up once again, and this time he's not in luck. He will stay down. Telly is next. He will step back 4 squares and spend 1 action point to bounce off the ropes and attack the Fight Wight. So that will give him his regular attack of 1 silver die plus 1 cover. And he will have a hard time beating the defenses of the Fight Wight. Yeah. Well, she barely resists the attack. So what now? Again, his signature move, the leg lock, could prove effective here. It will cost him 2 action points. and he rolls 1 silver, 1 copper, +1. The fight Wight is not as effective when it comes to grapple, so only 1 silver die. Ooh, and that's a roll of 5 +1, a total of 6. That's way better. And with 1 +1, the fight Wight will not defend or will not resist the grapple, and it's also a beatdown that will give 1 extra damage. The leg lock will also remove 2 movement points from the fight Wight. Still 1 action left, and Telly will use a regular grapple attack. Still 1 copper and 1 silver +1, that's 2. The fight Wight rolls 2 as well. No further damage, and that concludes this round. Let's go to round 4. As usual, the round will begin with initiative. The fight Wight will use her dexterity and Telly will use his. They will both have 1 silver and 1 copper. The fight Wight rolls 3 this time, and that beats Telly. So the fight Wight will have the first and only activation of the bodybuilders, and the first thing she will do is try to pick up Grimbold. She only has to beat his weight with a silver die, and she will roll 2 with her grapple ability. She will pick up Grimbold, and she has a throw distance of 3. That's enough to throw him out of the ring. That's the last we will see of Grimbold in this match. The fight Wight will roll a crowd die, but that's a blank. No effect. She still has 1 action left, and she will turn against Telly and use her regular attack. That's 1 gold and 1 silver. She rolls 6. Telly will not nowhere near defend that attack, and it's 5. That will be a beatdown. He will take an additional damage for a total of 2, and he will also be shot 2 spaces. Because of the Revenant Flame ability of the fight Wight, he will also roll for Dazed, and that's a boo. He will get a negative action and a negative movement point as well. That is enough to knock out Telly. He is on the floor. The fight Wight can move, but no further actions, so she cannot pick him up or try to pin Telly. Luckily for him. Royce is ready to activate, but first he must roll for bleeding. He was hit by the fight Wight's attack in the last round, and he is still bleeding. But with a cheer result, the bleeding will stop. Royce will then head for the ropes, and he can use the ropes here. I think he will use his special attack that will cost him 2 action points, the cloth line knockdown. He will have 2 silver and 1 copper. It will only do 1 damage, but it will result in a knockdown if he's successful. The fight Wight will try to defend with 1 gold and 1 silver. So far, it's a really good roll from Royce, and the fight Wight will not defend. Royce rolls 7, so that will also result in a beatdown. She will take 1 more damage for a total of 2, and she will be knocked down. Not knocked out, but still on the floor. That is a golden opportunity for Royce if he can throw himself on top of the fight Wight and pin her to the floor. He will roll 2 copper dice for his weight, and he will have to beat 2 copper dice of the fight Wight, and she will not add any further copper dice because she has less than half of her stamina left. So that's 2 copper versus 2 copper. And he rolls 5. That's a great roll. This could be all over for the fight Wight, and it is. Royce will win this match for the heavy pounders. He will pin the fight Wight to the floor and take her out. The crowd goes wild as Royce secures the victory for the heavy pounders, and he will also come out as the match VIP. I think the fight Wight and Grimbold especially also did what they could, but Royce is the VIP. Thanks a lot for watching this Rumbleslam match. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I hope you'll join me for future matches.